We will bring this Personnel Human Services Committee meeting to order. Roll call, please, if we could. Here.
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 Yes.
Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Herrick.
Motion to excuse Commissioner Bickett, please.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Any discussion? Then a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Then he will be excused for today. Hopefully he's having a good time where he is. It's good to see you today, Ms. Radke. All right, and now we will move on to the minutes of our last meeting, November 16th, 2021. They have been moved. Is there any support? Moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. All right, and now in the time, we will move into public input. If there is anyone that would like to address the committee, they may step forward. Go ahead, state your name.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Priessnitz, and I'd like to introduce myself to everybody here. I'm the Assistant Finance Officer. I've worked for the county over 30 years. I started out as a staff accountant, worked my way through all the different roles and things in the staff accountant. Annually, I work on Bay County's budget, which is over $145 million budget. Throughout the budget of the process, during the budget process, I work with department heads, administration, and then in October and November and December, I work with the board, analysts, and I just wanted to say that I've done that with Bob for like 17 years, and Deanne Berger. It's been really good budget process to do it this way. Also, I oversee the accounts payable, over $43 million annually, resulting in $8 million worth of 1099s that we issue out of our department. I also work close with several departments, and I thoroughly enjoy working with Bay County employees. We have some of the hardest working employees in this county. I mean, truly, we have some that really try hard, and they come up with ideas and budgets. They're just outstanding to work with, and I really, budget is fun and exciting, and you hear all the different programs and things, and that's part of this job that I like. But I'm also hoping that I would like to see if I could get appointed to the new financial analyst role for Bay County Board of Commissioners, and I bring the budget process and the rule and the financial. I know I've been here and I saw when we've converted from different software and where we put our numbers and stuff like that. I just have to learn the other side, the legislative piece, but I've got the financial piece. I feel very comfortable with that piece. So that's what I'd like my input. If you have any questions.
Jim does.
I don't have a question. Would it be appropriate to make a comment?
Certainly, go right ahead.
I'd just like to tell Kim that I think the board and the chairman have made an excellent choice to succeed the vaunted Robert Redmond, who has helped the county for so many years. But you two were a team finalizing a lot of along with the director and the other staff, But I mean, you work together very closely, and I think you know where this board is coming from. And I congratulate you, assuming everything goes well on the vote. But I think, I don't think you could have made a better choice, is what I'd say to the board. So thank you, Kim. And it'll be fun working with you as we go forward, too. So.
Thank you, Executive Barsha. Commissioner.
Kim, could you share with me what your understanding is of the job responsibilities of this person, this financial liaison?
I know that they will, most of the people that, and I've seen this because Bob sometimes will come up to me and say, well, do we have money in the sheriff? Can they pay for this currently out of their own budget and not have to get a budget adjustment process? So a lot of it's understanding when you get the resolutions come before the board, and do they really need a budget adjustment in it or not, or question this program. I know the programs that what Bay County goes through and understand all the different road patrols, all the different types of programs and departments, and reaching out to the individuals. A lot of times this department head or the administration, they have a lot of input, so it's important to gather all the stakeholders together and understand what it is under this job to make sure you're making sound advice. This job I see is providing background and advice and providing the worksheets or whatever information that's needed to make sound decisions for Bay County, because we have been solvent. When we were like one of the 3 counties when things got really bad with the state of Michigan that was solvent, and we have good fiscal policies here. This is a really good, Bay County is a very good government that provides that kind of background. And I see this role as providing information to keep us current and where we need to go forward. That's what I see. The legislative, I always read all that. I bring newspaper clippings in all the time and show Bob, we're talking about the financial things like that. This is just enhancing that more with this job, but I do get the financial piece really well. I get that. And I have the background of the bones of building the budget. I know what goes into each piece of it, each department head, and what they need. And they talk to me about their programs, which is so helpful. We know we have the heartbeat here to keep it going. Questions? Great
Commissioner
question.
Quinnan?
Actually, Kim,
Yes.
you're a resource for 7 commissioners.
Yeah.
That anytime we have a question, we call you and we get an answer. Because we're not full-time employees.
Yes, yes.
I've been here 22 years. Unless you're working on the budget every day, there's a lot of things in there that you may have forgotten, but we need somebody like you
Yeah.
that can give us the information that we need whenever we want it. And we couldn't have picked a better, I mean, I love Bob.
Right.
We go a long time together, and he was a good one.
Yeah.
But we couldn't have picked a better
Possibly, yeah.
person to fulfill, to provide the resource that the 7 of us need in order to make decisions.
And I'll tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, I need to research it and get with administration, because, and I know I reach across. I think administration has wonderful, wonderful information they can provide, and it's collaboration type of thing. I know where it's at, I know where to dig, and I know how to go and look up things for other counties. I know how to do that stuff, but also I think it's important that we get the other people involved and make sound decisions, so then it comes out okay, no surprises. You know, nobody likes surprises. Everyone wants to be the same page. I think it's important. Is that okay? Any other questions?
Any other questions or discussion?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public input? Seeing none, we'll move on to petitions and communications. Communication number 1, or A, pardon me, comes from the board chair, the appointment of Kimberly Priessnitz as the board's financial analyst.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fox.
So one of my concerns with, our board rules don't govern this type of appointment. When we appoint an employee, we don't have a job description, nor do we know what the expectation is for Kim. So my big concern is not Kim, it's the lack of process, and I think we as a commission need to establish a process for this type of appointment. And I don't feel as though we need to rush into that appointment by the end of the year, that we really should slow our roll and make sure we have our ducks in a row as a commission in setting a standard going forward.
Commissioner Herrick.
Thank you. I think Marie is correct, and she's very thorough, and I think Kim would expect no less than for us to be thorough and to be transparent. And people, you don't know what people are saying. What did they do, or why did they do it, and what was the process? And like she said, the process. Why is there such a hurry to do this, this amount of time? I got the, once I got to thinking about it, I go, she probably is the best person for the job, but why are we pushing it so fast? You know, if it's the right choice, it's going to come out on top anyways. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like she's helped me many times and done a lot for me. There's no doubt about it. But I also want to be able to say to people, this is why we did it, and this is how we did it, and this is the process we followed. Not that it just came up in a meeting, and I know everybody got calls, but it needs to be out in public so it can be seen.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I suppose we should take that to a vote.
Can I make a motion to table it till next month? Till we have a job description, do we know we've gone from part-time to full-time, that we have those expectations and that criteria spelled out?
So you've made a motion
To table on.
to table till next month.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion on that motion?
You're working with Tiffany on a job description, Ernie?
That's correct.
It's just not complete yet, right?
Seeing no further discussion, we'll vote on that motion. All in favor?
Probably going to need a table or a roll call.
I'm sorry. So we'll do a roll call for that one.
Fox,
Yes.
Coonan,
No.
Parrott,
Yes.
Radke,
Yes.
Krieger,
No.
Johnson,
No.
So what happens now?
Doesn't win. You can need 4 votes.
Okay. So we go back to the original motion.
So then we'll move back to the original motion. And that one had already been moved and supported. Would we have to move and support that again? I don't believe so. So we will take that one to a vote as well, and I suppose we should probably do a roll call vote for that as well. Please.
Coonan,
Yeah. Yes.
Parrott,
No.
Radke,
No.
Krieger,
Yes.
Fox,
No.
Johnson,
And yes. So now do we Indian leg wrestle or Rochambeau? Not really sure.
I guess we look for advice from the attorney.
Motion that's brought, that's a tie fails.
I'm sorry,
I guess, what's the question?
it's a tie.
It fails.
That fails.
so is that considered defeated?
Yes.
Then we will move on. Item B, Sheriff upcoming road patrol vacancies, seeking to authorize, post, and fill up to 7 upcoming road patrol vacancies in the period January 1st to June 1st.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Same sign. We will move on to item C, Treasurer, Accounting Clerk vacancy, seeking authorization to post, fill an Accountant Clerk 3 vacancy.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Item D, Corporation Counsel renewal of property and liability insurance with MMRMA.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved, has been supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Item E, Health Officer Forensic Pathologist Agreement, seeking approval of an agreement with Patrick Cho, MD, authorization for the board to sign.
Somebody going to move it?
So
I'll move
moved.
it.
I'm sorry, I'll move it.
It's been moved. It's been supported. Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner Coonan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maybe Amber, I read about Saginaw County having a problem with their pathologists or the folks. Now, this gentleman works on his own, right?
He does, and we actually were approached by the same group that does the pathology work for Saginaw County a number of years ago. We couldn't reach an agreement with them, and subsequently we did reach an agreement with Dr. Cho. He was actually back up for us for quite a few years before we entered into the agreement with him last year.
Okay, and the number of autopsies have been on the increase due to a number of reasons.
They have.
Whenever we exceed whatever we budgeted, we just do a budget adjustment. And is there, do we know, is there a delay in time more so than there used to be on folks that need an autopsy?
I have not been informed that there has been any delay or concern with Dr. Cho. I know that there has been some concern with regards to space to store the deceased because we have limited storage space at McLaren's morgue unit. We rent space from them. And I know that our medical examiner also has been moving along death certificates and cremation permits relatively quickly because of that shortage of space, but I have not heard any concerns about a delay with regards to the actual autopsies being performed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? In that case, it has been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Item F, Director of Administrative Services, 2022 MDA grant seeking authorization to apply for grant funding through the Michigan Department of Agriculture.
So,
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. And let's see, item G, Director from the Department on Aging, number 1, under item G, Williams Township Activity Center Site Agreement, seeking approval of 1 or 2 year agreement with Williams Township.
so moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 2, under section G, premium pay for direct care workers and funding for those who provide homemaking and personal care services. Authorization for the board chair to sign documents if required for approval.
So moved.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Any discussion? Commissioner Cooner.
Thank you, sir. Now, I don't have any problems with this, but have we addressed, I mean, we got a lot of other employees. I mean, how did this come up, just out of curiosity?
We're actually not paying this premium. This is something that's getting paid through Region 7, and the way that our grant is written through Region 7, we actually don't have any discretion or authority. This is money that has to be paid to these employees if they're in this particular.
All right, that's not a problem, but I think we need to be looking at all of our employees who have dealt with this over the last 2 years, and if it's something that, maybe it's contract negotiations that but, I think everybody's entitled to some additional money. So I saw it, wasn't quite sure what the process was. I guess everything's about process. But I want to make sure that we're going to look into the rest of our employees as well in the very near future.
I do know that that was a good question to ask, because that was asked last evening as well, if there are other facilities that are also, that sort of pay is also being made available to, and I believe we spoke before that is anyone who's actually delivering direct care, I believe they can apply through a grant process to be able to get that $2.35 an hour for each of those people that does direct care. The person who was asking last evening was inquiring about the Bay County Medical Care Facility and who exactly would be able to partake in that funding, I guess. So, and who gets to make the decisions on how that works.
We should at least find out if the care facility did apply for that. And I know we can't make that decision, the 3-member board does, but we should find out if they did apply for that. If they didn't, we should encourage them to apply for that so those folks can get that additional money.
I know last year that there was an application for some employees, that there was some confusion about who was entitled to that, and it unfortunately resulted in some repayments by employees to the employer because they were paid the premium when they technically didn't qualify. But I know in the past they have applied for it. I don't know if they're continuing to apply for it this year or not.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd just like to make one comment on behalf of the personal care employees in the Department on Aging. They don't receive stellar wages, and going in and helping people, assisting people with chore services and other things, in my opinion, I'm glad that this is mandatory because they could really use the extra assistance, and they're dedicated, and every time they go into a home, they're probably taking a little risk, more so than leaving a meal at the door and wearing a mask, so you actually have to go in and help these people personally. So I'm glad to see this, and I think they deserve it. And there may be others as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comments. I agree. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now I'll move on to item H from the Finance Officer, Office 365, seeking $165,000 to purchase, install most current version of Office 365 on all Bay County computers.
So moved.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Any discussion?
What is
Commissioner
the
Fox.
process for software updates? Does that happen on a regular basis? I mean, I'm assuming this is a result of recent events.
Yes, correct. By upgrading to the software, we would, save or have an 80% chance of, not having the incident that we had before. So upgrades do help and are necessary in that process.
Right. What have we been using?
Our email exchange server, as everything was going through there. Julie can explain a little bit more in detail if you'd like, but so we were utilizing our email. This would be a cloud-based email from 365, which we were not utilizing.
So we are currently using an Exchange 2016. Can you hear me okay?
No, I can't hear.
Okay. So we are currently using an Exchange 2016 on-premise email server. And what we're working on doing is setting up a brand new Office 365 system that is completely run through the cloud, and then transition to what we call a hybrid, so people can store files and whatnot on their computers and the file server. For everything is moving online.
And how will that make things safer?
So by moving it within the cloud, it reduces our risk by 80% because we're not having to constantly update something that's on premise. Microsoft does that for us.
Okay.
So what counties and cities and municipalities have been doing across the country is they have been moving to a system such as this.
Okay. Thank you.
You know what, I do want to note, it's not going to stop people from doing things and receiving bad email, but it reduces our risk of of another security incident happening with email.
Commissioner Krieger.
So I was going to ask you under miscellaneous, when we're going to full board, seeing you're up right now, maybe you could just give us a little bit of an overview of what happened and where we are today and what we can expect as far as, different departments being able to get back into working.
So on December 13th, we have what we're referring to as a security incident. And then it ran into the 14th. And on December 14th, we shut down email. So email has been down for 2 weeks. I don't know how, I'm going to go in the broad view with. So we engaged in MMRMA and cybersecurity incident. And so we have obtained outside counsel, and a third party is doing the security investigation to find and comb, with a fine-tooth comb to go through what occurred. So that's still being investigated. So when these kinds of incidents happen, and to make a system more secure, we have to install software that constantly runs and scans to provide threats. So because we took everything down, we took a good couple days to get on everybody's computer, installing and running a software application that scans for malware, viruses, things like that, to alert us of any incidences. So if there's anything critical that happens, say someone installs malware or ransomware, the computer is essentially isolated and inoperable, and then we triage it, we go and we fix it, uninstall things, do what we need to do on that part. So through the course of the last 2 weeks, we haven't had email. And so with working with outside counsel and the independent security company, the best course of action is to essentially create brand new email boxes. So as far as at this point in time, we're in the process of getting all the emails that have been essentially holding for 2 weeks to be going over to the new email system, and that will take some time to catch up and things like that. So we hope over the next few days, obviously we're closed on Thursday and Friday because of the holiday, but over the next short period of time, users will start logging into their new email, they'll see the emails that are there, and then at some point we will work on allowing or essentially archiving what was the existing email system. So the short answer is soon. I've had some of my staff have logged in, and we're getting people logged in. It's hard to use something if you don't get incoming email right now, so I've been getting updates and whatnot, so we're working on it. So hopefully very soon here, everyone will be able to log into the new system and get their emails that have been waiting for 2 weeks. I know some of us have a lot of emails, and I know we were just talking before the meeting about how we haven't had internal emails, so we don't have that. But the answer is very soon.
Okay.
Have you been able to isolate the threat, or what happened? Somebody clicked on a bad link, or?
They did not click on a bad link. It was occurred with a vulnerability, and we have since patched the vulnerability, but because the email system and the state it is, we've determined with essentially working with an independent security company, we're not going to stand that up and allow people to use it in any fashion moving forward. It's not a good idea.
Executive Barsha?
I just wanted to make a comment, Julie, and thank you and your team, and Amber and Jan and Tiffany and everybody, Nicole, working together to mitigate the potentially catastrophic consequences that Bay County could have faced. You were on it, and I believe we shut it down. You shut it down about 10 minutes after the alert came in, or after we discovered it, and that has really reduced our liability and protected the county's data. So thank you I know you haven't gotten much sleep and you've been on this for the last 2 weeks. So,
It's okay.
we appreciate you, Julie. Thank you.
Thank you.
And your whole team.
Thank you. Any other discussion? It's been moved, supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we'll move on to I, Personnel Director Vacancies. We've got a 911 Central Dispatcher, Department on Aging HDM driver, Mosquito Control Biologist, Sheriff's Record Specialist, and at the Health Department, we've got 2 different spots, letter A and B, Public Health Nurse Service Manager, Clinical Services Manager, and a continuation of 3 positions. And there is a 6th spot there, I'm sorry, the Juvenile Home, Youth Development Worker, full-time.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner Kuhn.
Just on one, the positions that were vacant when the Saginaw Valley Clinic went away, correct? And there is a need for them in the Health Department, I do understand that, but we do have a policy, right? That when grant funds go away, the jobs go away. But there is a need for those 3 jobs to do the work in immunization and pandemic area. I just want to make sure that once this all ends, I hope it's going to end at some point, that we're going to keep an eye on those jobs as well and understand that those jobs, being that the grant funding has gone away, those jobs may also go away. They're not going away now, but down the road, because I think we have a policy on that, and we're doing everything on policy, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Any other discussion? It's been moved and supported. All in favor? Opposed? All right, and we will finally move on to letter J, Office of Assigned Counsel, October and November 2021 reports. Motion to receive.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. All right. Move into referrals. I don't believe we have any at this time. No unfinished business. Any new business? Miscellaneous or announcements?
Move to adjourn.
Support.
Well, hold on. You skipped the announcement. She had her hand up.
Oh, it's wrong. Sorry.
That's all right. You didn't see her on that side there. Commissioner Fox, did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, I'm offering, since I'm the one that brought it up as a point of concern with the board rules, since these appointments don't seem to address what we have upcoming, I would be willing to work with somebody to update that piece of this. Just throwing that out there.
I think the board chairman should work with them, too.
So the two together to try and come up with,
Well, we're trying to fit a square peg in a couple of round holes, and it doesn't quite fit. So if this is outdated and needs to be addressed, there's no better time than now. And if Ernie and I can do it, it'll be good.
Commissioner Coonan.
I don't want to continue to kick this can down the road, but nobody says it's outdated. The board has two employees, the financial analyst and the supervisor over here, Deanne. We have two employees. They're at will. They work on our behalf. 30 years ago when Bob came in, the process was the same. He was appointed and he got voted in. So there's not like anything that hasn't been updated. It's just the way it was, and it's the way it is now.
Any other discussion? All right. Any other announcements? I actually have one. I figured since Commissioner Begic wasn't going to be here, I could at least fill in and make some kind of an announcement. Plenty of advance notice for this, but because Commissioner Begic wasn't going to be here, we're going to make sure we get this in. March 5th, 2022, a night at the races, the Garber Athletic Association is hosting their annual banquet. God willing, it all comes off right. They have tickets for $50, dinner, open bar, and a silent auction. So put that on your calendar. Make it if you can. All right. Now, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It has been moved.
Support.
It's been supported. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None.